My name's Ric Renton. I'm the writer of One Off. One Off is a story about four men in a category A prison, HMP Durham, which at the time had the highest suicide rate of any prison in the country. It's about relationships. It's about relationships in prison. So it's an extraordinary set of circumstances with quite ordinary people, focusing on the relationship between one of the inmates and a night guard who, owing to his job, working at night in an unlit Victorian prison, is never seen by the inmates, but has a very, very rich friendship, or varying degrees of rich friendships with the different inmates. The title of the play, One Off, was something very unique to HMP Durham, where I spent the latter part of my sentence. It was something that was shouted out when one of the inmates had died, and for about the first 3 months I didn't actually know what it meant. So I would hear one off shouted in varying degrees of volume or distance. Sometimes it would be close, sometimes it would be far away, and it was only when I asked my neighbour next door what it meant that I actually realised that someone had died. So that was very specific to Durham. I'd been in 2 other prisons before that, and I'd never heard that before, so it was quite a unique hallmark of that grisly place. My journey as a writer began in solitary confinement in about 2003. I was sent to the hole, as they call it, for fighting, and in a burst of inspiration that I don't know where it came from, I was offered a Bible by the guard who came to the cell to pass food or something. And I said, what the fuck do I want a Bible for? Because I was in about the worst place that I could possibly be, and I didn't see I needed that at all. And as he was walking away, I shouted out back after him, could I get a dictionary? He didn't say anything, and a couple of hours later, a dictionary slammed on the floor through the food hatch. And over the couple of weeks that I was there, I sifted through the dictionary, A through Z. I didn't actually finish it, I got to about M, I think. But what that did do, years and years later, when I put pen to paper, is it gave me a grasp of language that was way, way, way above my education system. So that was where my journey began for me, but it really picked up on my first play, which was developed with Charlotte when she was at Soho Theatre in a writers group in 2018, which was my first play, Nothing in a Butterfly. It can be challenging to write a play about my own lived experience. Sifting through what's interesting, sifting through what's relevant, and also reconnecting with times that were hard. That said, it's really cathartic, and something that I particularly enjoy about this play is the level of authenticity that I have worked really, really hard to deliver. In the dialogue, in the characters, who are all based on real people. So it's challenging, but it's worth it. So 10 years ago almost, I met a lady who is now big in the writing game, Vicky Jones, who I was discussing ideas with to write about. And I mentioned to her the story of One Off, about a young man who meets a prison guard who he never sees. And when I said the words, he never sees his face, she said, write that. It took me 8 years to get to the point of writing, but when I did, I was fortunate enough to meet the artistic director of Paines Plough, Charlotte, and she liked it enough to give me a crack at the whip, and so here I am. I had the privilege of going to Edinburgh Fringe this year, and uniformly Paines Plough's shows were absolutely smashing it out the park, and they were such eclectic, interesting, nuanced people's life experience, and I couldn't imagine going to the theatre and not seeing stories like that. Yeah, it's challenging to be the writer and the actor. This is the second time this year that I've done that. I think one of the biggest challenges in doing both is keeping my head in as an actor and not constantly trying to edit. But I'm really excited because the piece of work that I've almost completed is really exciting, really fast-paced, and it's got some real drama in it. I don't like to suggest that my work is important. I just find it interesting. I like what I write, I like the subjects that I write about, and I'm very, very fortunate in that a few other people agree with me, notably Paines Plough. So I'm going to continue writing what I write about, and as long as it's interesting to other people, then that works for me. What I would like to see more of on stage is people who at one point thought they didn't stand a chance. That's who I identify with. In no imagination whatsoever did I ever think that I would be where I am today, telling the stories that I am telling. I didn't think they were worth anything. I didn't think what I had to say was interesting, and I didn't think my background necessarily propped me up to have what I've got now. So I would like to see more people who have gone through the ringer, in however that looks, and to tell their stories on stage. People should come and see this show if it sounds interesting to them. If they're interested in relationships, in a difficult set of environments, through unlikely circumstances, and if the story resonates with you, that's why you should come and see this show. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be the best show you've ever seen. I'm not going to tell you that it's the most important show you've ever seen, but I think it's great. And if you want to come and see it, if the storyline resonates with you, come and have a go.